This episode was brought to you by Autograph Events, our sponsor.
Come take my hand, I will walk with you. I won't let go till you say so. There isn't anything I wouldn't do. Wanna make sure that you understand.
Thank you for tuning in to the Crodie Files.
I'm Craig Bryson.
And I'm Jodie Mears.
And together we are the Crodie Files.
The future of learning and development. In this episode, Craig and I will be discussing how administrative assistants can learn which way and which direction the future of how we learn and where we learn is going.
Without you, there is no tomorrow. Without you, there is no tomorrow.
I really like this one, of course.
Of course you will. It's all to do with futuristic tech. I'm not saying I don't, but it's just a grey area for me. I am slowly getting there, I have to admit. I'm not as advanced as you because I don't find it interesting to do it in my spare time like Craig.
I think it stems from when I used to build computers back in the day.
Oh, yes.
And putting
You're the
motherboards.
IT guy.
Yeah, and in the office,
That's
I'm the
why.
IT go-to. Even though IT is on a different level, it's like, yeah, we have an IT department for that. Oh, no, but you're here.
We have Craig. The future. So we're thinking immediate future because at the rate that generative AI and all the other tools and applications are coming out, this could mean next year or this could mean 10 years.
Well,
I'm not sure yet.
It has started. It has started. We've been around for a couple of years now.
So we have like lots of different modes of learning and development.
That's correct.
There's a lot of options out there, but the good old personalized one-to-one or even group training in person still holds a place in my heart.
The HI.
The HI, the human intelligence part of it. But I don't know, I'm not that, what's the word, disassociated too much. I just like a mixture of learning styles in training. So as long as the course has got an element of the future of learning mixed in with good old-fashioned one-to-one or group training in person, I don't mind. But personalised learning has to be the number one thing. Whatever you're seeking, obviously, it needs to align, one, with your personal and professional gaps and goals and be completely relevant to the role. So that really does enable you to get that training funded by your organisation so you can show already the return on investment that your company is making when you can say, this is what I want to learn and this is how it relates directly to my role today and these are the improvements I hope to make when I get back. But what about having that same conversation but we're learning a bit more futuristically, and how do I approach that conversation now when I'm learning something that isn't currently implemented in the business in terms of, let's just pick on generative AI and all the other options?
I find that there is an algorithm, there is software, there is learning platforms out there that they ask you questions, they put you through a process of a few items on screen, and it comes back and actually shows you what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. We don't like saying that.
No, I know what you mean.
And then it would suggest how you would better yourself and your learning development through this algorithm that's been going on the back.
Oh, how
so you have tasks. So you have tasks that you do on the screen, and it could be hand coordination. It could be answering a riddle. It could be doing color blocks or connecting triangles to make a bigger triangle. It's all those different variations of physically or doing stuff on testing that the algorithm will come back and say, this is what you would do.
This is what you're missing.
Exactly.
Oh, how interesting.
So that will be a personalized, in-depth analyze of what will be best for you. That's one of them.
So we've got the traditional sort of learning, development, personal development that we all have access to, which is absolutely amazing. I've learned a lot the sort of old school way, in-person events. I like webinars. I like seeing people and hearing people talk at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's why I benefit from a mixture of both in-person and online learning. There is quite a lot of online learning. I mean, since lockdown and everything else, where businesses were forced to move to online options to deliver their wares and their offerings, what have you, there is a lot of online options to learn and grow professionally, personally, even technically with courses. What works best for you and your learning style, and what have you seen that is the next step from that?
I like games, and I've always liked games, and I find that there's a thing called gamification. So what it's doing is breaking down that learning and development that you need to do, but incorporating in a game. So, for example, you would tap in the inherent human desire for competition, achievements, and rewards. If you're not only enhancing learning experiences, but also encouraging healthy competition among employees in a positive way.
So there's a gamification style of learning that
Yeah.
directly aligns with assistant and their roles in terms of learning about working with people, managing people, but in a gamey way. So I
Exactly.
haven't seen one of those yet.
So at the moment, I've been using the VR version, the Oculus headset goes on. This is another way of learning and development. And there's a lot of games inside there that help develop your eye and hand coordination again, and also problem solving. There's also some detective work, and it's quite fun. But we also have board meetings through VR now. So you can create your own
wow.
avatar. Instead of having that traditional Zoom face-to-face on a monitor, you're now in this room, and you can create this whole room in a different environment, in a board. You can have a pop plant here, and you can see the person you're talking to, and you can physically
Virtually.
be in there.
So
And-
is that the way you feel that courses for our profession might go? I mean, that sounds it is like the metaverse kind of thing. And
Definitely.
you've got a lot of businesses adopting metaverse and AI strategies in delivering their current products and services.
We're using our sensors, we're using our sight, sound. Some of them have feel, so you can actually put gloves on and you can actually
Yes.
feel the vibrations or the vest that you're wearing. When you're in the classroom, or even if it's like first aiding or cooking, there's a lot of learning with EAs. We'll probably be in a room with other EAs, because you're sitting in a room on your own, and you can see everybody on the screen.
That's mind blowing,
That
isn't
is
it?
mind blowing. It's
Yeah.
like unbelievable. You can look around, you can feel, you can hear the noises behind, you can hear the birds outside. It's just incredible. And because of that, it stimulates different parts of your brain that you're able to learn, because this is exciting, like a child opening a Christmas present for the first time. It's exactly that sort of adrenaline, but it is sensory overload. So it
Right.
does, you can't take it for long periods of time. Sometimes you need to take a motion sickness pill.
Oh, that'll count me out.
You suffer from that.
Yeah, I get in an Uber and I want to throw up.
Oh, wow. 'Cause
Yeah,
you're
if I'm the
backseat.
passenger.
Oh, okay.
But you sound really excited by that. And I'm just trying to picture myself going on a course for assistants in the metaverse, in a room full of other avatars, and learning and absorbing what's going on. I think it's a really cool concept. It's obviously the way it's going to happen. At what speed, I don't know, and whether this is coming to us sooner than we think, and what percentage of people will still prefer and cling
Yes.
on to that face-to-face traditional learning that we see available to us all the time through our networks and through trade shows. We have those go-to people that are our industry leaders through training. It'd be really interesting to see how they adopt and evolve
Through-
with this new technology, and the differences in their
The quality.
courses. Yeah, the
Yeah.
quality, the availability. Because right now you can see a course advertised anywhere in the world. And part of the marketing strategy for those in-person events or conferences are, we have 50 seats. Get in, we have early bird tickets. Get in now.
That's true.
Buy your ticket now.
Mm.
We're having it in a hotel conference suite. We have space for 150 delegates, and then your time is up. And it creates that hype, if you like, to say, oh, I really need to be on this course. But with what you're just saying, potentially the availability of these courses could become even more so and limitless.
At the moment, we have the VR. So the hardware is going to be more streamlined because at the moment it's a bit clunky, it's a bit heavy. You get sweaty because you have to have that thing on your head all the time. But having it more streamlined with AI, will be able to create the images very quickly. So when you turn your head fast, you'll be able to see it. And you could probably have it on Mount Machu Picchu, the whole training course up there.
Yeah.
And so it's still got a bit of way to go, but the way that software and hardware are advancing every 6 months with new phones coming out, it's going
really
to be
quick, isn't it?
anytime soon. And if you have a room with just the whole room is just one big screen and showing you, I would learn a lot quicker and more than just reading a textbook.
What I meant by limitless is more of a numbers thing. So
it'll be depending on the Wi-Fi you have, that's all you're limited to.
Upgrade to fiber now.
Yeah, there is. So
so where courses at the moment and their marketing strategies are based around, venues and numbers, potentially with this way of learning, it could be limitless, could it? Because you could have 2,000 assistants or their avatars in this room or space learning all together. So we could see cost come down because the opportunity becomes bigger to have more people, less travel. So maybe it's going to be more sustainable.
And the time of day, so you don't have to go, I'm working at that now. Time zones, I can just pop it on now and I can be going to the
Like you just said, Machu Picchu, if there was a course today on the top of the mountain and you would think, that sounds lovely on this retreat on the side of the mountain, but blimey, it's a 12-hour flight and it's £2,000 to get there. And But think of the opportunity that could present itself through VR training and you can go and learn anywhere.
Especially if you're up in Manchester or Scotland and it's pouring down with rain, it's snowing, pop on the VR and you're in sun. And I think mentally it would also help you.
It could be it'd be really interesting. And if there are any trainers out there who have already explored those futuristic opportunities to branch into the next level of technology with your training, do let us know. I'd love to learn. Well, you definitely want to know when that's coming out.
We're going to have a quick break to have one of our contributors answer a Hi Crodie question. We'll be right back.
I'm absolutely delighted to introduce to you our next contributor, Fiona Young. Fiona, in case you don't know, is the founder of Carve, a series of live digital courses for executive assistants to learn AI, create capacity and develop into a strategic assistant, carving out your career growth in the process. Before launching Carve, Fiona spent 15,000 hours of her career redefining what modern digital learning experiences look like. She led learning programs at Hive Learning, the innovative B2B peer learning app, creating high-impact learning experiences for an impressive list of corporate clients. Fiona previously ran learning and development for Blenheim Calcott, one of the world's most successful venture builders, overseeing group learning strategy and programs for 3,000 people across 25 ventures. Fiona also started her career as an executive assistant in venture capital. So without further ado, Fiona's advice is going to be absolutely amazing.
Come take my hand, I will walk with you. I won't let go till you say so.
Hi, Crodie. How do you envision the role of technology in shaping the future of learning and development to an executive administrator?
Hi, Crodie. So, tech has transformed learning already over the past several decades. It's really helped us to be able to join up to fantastic communities and courses across space and time zones. It's given us access to really incredible learning resources and experts from every corner of the world. You don't need to be based in cities like London or New York to have access to top experts. And as we look forward, we're moving into this age of AI. And I have two predictions for what that means for how tech is going to really reshape the future of L&D for executive administrative assistants. So my first prediction is around personalization. AI gives us this opportunity of having incredibly personalized learning experiences. So we're all going to have a learning coach, a bot who's able to meet us where we are and give us really tailored and targeted learning interventions. And the programs and courses that we join up to aren't going to be one size fits all anymore. Imagine if you're on a course and not just the content in that course, but also how it's served up to you online can be totally tailored to you real time. So for example, how and when you get nudged to dive back into a course will be optimized around your personal schedule and how you learn best. So for me, that may mean, there's a window between 8:15 and 8:45 a.m., Monday to Friday, where I'm typically sitting on the tube in London commuting. And if I get a ping on my phone from my learning course that there's a new resource that's landed, that's the perfect time where I'm most receptive to being able to dive in. I've got the time, I've got the headspace to actually go and spend 10 minutes in that. So these tools will be able to know that, to have all that data, analyze that data, and personalize that experience for us. And so on to my second prediction. This one is sort of ironic. I think that in the age of AI, that face-to-face experiences will matter more than ever. So I think that all these fantastic tech advances will actually mean that we'll move back towards face-to-face. We'll prioritize that connection with other people who are in similar roles to us. We'll prioritize authenticity. We'll prioritize building relationships. And that will be even more important in the age of AI than it is today.
Wow. Thank you, Fiona, for your excellent insights on this high Crodie question. To learn more from Fiona, be sure to check out our show notes for links to connect with her.
We're now going to get back into discussing this episode. We've got down here micro-learning. So bite-sized learning modules are becoming increasingly more popular. And we see that it's not a new thing.
No.
We love a good old lunch and learn session, don't we? And short videos, infographics, they're really easy to make, easy to obtain, and really to the point. Pinterest, you can get some great infographics, which are literally bite-sized learning on anything, really. I looked on there for personal branding a few months back, and you can get a quick infographic on what it means, what it is, and quick steps to success. Those kind of things shouldn't be discounted for different learning styles and access to learning.
Yeah.
Great start to learning and development if you're not used to it.
I also think that micro-learning, because our attention span it's just getting
decreasing,
short.
Isn't it?
It's decreasing, yeah. When you look on socials and you're looking at a video and it's like, oh, no, next.
I don't even give them 5 seconds to grab my attention and I'm on to the next. I need to get to the punchline really quickly.
So that's, it's like, do I fast forward it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think this is what micro-learning is, that you can learn short bites, bursts of information at once.
And it is a good way to stay up to date with trends and skills. And it kind of eliminates that need, in a way, to have those conversations, which again is good and not so good, where you can obtain the information you want really easily, quickly, in your own time on these platforms like YouTube or Pinterest, and not even involve your learning and development coordinator at work, or not even need to ask for £2,000 for a training course. So I think it's great the amount of the variety of options we have for learning and development, which opens up the question of, you really haven't got any excuse, have you?
No, I haven't got time, or I'm going to be on the train. There's like
so many options these
you
days
can do it on the go
to your future of learning and development. But I'm interested about the gamification, because I think that would be a great way to learn, actually, not necessarily mixed with the VR.
Oh, definitely. No, I agree with that. Remember we were talking about earlier about read the room?
Yes.
Okay. So I think actors do it a lot when they do training, is becoming into that person, into that role playing.
Oh, but that used to be the worst part of training courses, where they ask you, can you just all stand up and get a partner? And you think, oh, you be the shopkeeper, I'll be the assistant. You think, this is just so cringe. But that's, again, cherry picking what works for you, what lights your fire, what you enjoy doing, and eliminate those courses that have that. It would depend how it was done, but those games and role plays
But we
done
do that,
well.
We do that a lot with team building as well within corporations and coming
Yes.
together and sort of communicating. And it's either on a huge big field or in a huge big room. And people put into teams, and it's like competitive, and everyone's trying to beat the other teams. But at the same time, you're learning from it. And I
Definitely.
think I enjoy those sort of games and that sort of learning
Yeah,
as well.
like away days and team
Yeah.
building events, and you're learning without even realizing you're
Exactly.
learning. How to
Exactly.
deal with people, how to solve problems, finding solutions under pressure, under a time pressure, and maybe under an environment pressure. How do you deal with this situation? Resources as
Yeah.
well. You've got a bunch of sticks and a piece of string. How are you going to get out of here? You're surprised.
The escape room. Remember the escape room? That was also another, you have to figure out a puzzle and you have to work as
Yeah.
a team. And that could help, especially if you're in a group of admin assistants that not everybody gets on well. And I
Yes.
think when you take them out of the office into that gamification environment, you start seeing the other side of that person who could be prickly or very quiet. And you see them, oh, I never knew that you could actually, oh, wow.
That really helps, taking people out of the environment in which is making them act a certain way.
Yeah.
Really does solve a lot of issues all in one. And why like team building and learning and development in general is still so important. I can't stress enough how important it is to keep going on and on and on to your training coordinator or your executive or your supervisor, line manager, that the importance of keeping up with your own continuous professional development, your CPD, will just make the world a difference to everyone. Don't leave it that late where it's a problem and you've got a rift in the group or a rift in the team, and then the solution to that is, oh, we all need to send you on a team building event.
Yeah.
If we all kept up to date with
learning.
our CPD, our continuous professional and personal development, maybe we wouldn't reach those points.
I totally agree. And you're never too old to learn as well. And you can grow with whatever you have learned and how you got to that situation. You'll be able to help other people. Sometimes when I try and learn something and I don't get it, and then when I do get it and I can still see other people haven't got it yet, I will try and tell them, how would you say, talk to like a 10-year-old, just to simplify it. I'm not saying that they're not intelligent, but simplifying it.
Definitely.
And by
yeah.
doing that, you can see their eyes, and then that light bulb goes off or the light switch goes on, and it's like, yes, I understand now on how to do that.
So that comes down to our point of improving knowledge retention.
Exactly.
And I think when it's addressed corporately or just whatever size organization you work for, they get something out of it as well. I think making that connection between my learning and development is important because it really does enhance employee engagement
Yeah.
and employee retention. I mean, if you're getting the funding to learn and grow, aren't you going to feel better about being at this organization 40, 50 hours a week for the rest of your
Definitely.
working life?
Yeah.
It's going to mean more.
Yeah.
You're going to do more. Well, that's all we've got time for today, Craig. That was a really interesting episode. And I know you enjoyed the future techie part of it.
I do. And thank you for all those listeners out there. If you do want to get in touch, please, we'd love to hear from you. You can reach us at craigandjody.com. You can reach us on all our platforms. Please leave a 5-star review and we'll keep going with this podcast.
So don't forget to subscribe to our podcast wherever you get your podcasts from, your favourite platform. Send in your feedback to help us stay visible to you and to address your hot topics with our Hi Crodie initiative through craigandjody.com. Stay tuned for our next episode where we'll be discussing wellness, nourishing resilience and balance.
I'm Craig Bryson.
And I'm Jodie Mears.
And together, we are the Crodie Files. This episode was brought to you by Autograph Events, our sponsor.